You are listening to Money Matters Podcast. Step into a world full of worth and financial intelligence. Dedicated to bringing awareness, empowering the world to financial freedom and personal development.
Welcome to the Money Matters Podcast. Once again, I go by the name Clever Pinero, and I'm in the studio with Alex. And today we got a very important issue to talk about today. We got a very great show today. We're going to be talking about the quickest way to get rich. You know, everybody want to get rich, and sometimes we don't know how, the processes of getting rich. We don't know how things work. We don't understand why some people are rich, some people are not. And we did a lot of research on this topic because we wanted to know why some people are rich, what these rich people are doing, what the poor people not doing, and what's really going on with these rich people. Why they're so rich? What are they doing that we're not doing? So we did an intensive research trying to figure out what's going on. And we focused on some of the richest people on this planet. And we wanted to know what kind of businesses they're doing, the reasons why they picked those businesses. So we came across people like Bill Gates. And as you guys know, Bill Gates is responsible for all these computers at homes and businesses and all that stuff. We find out Bill Gates is providing a need for people to have access to computers to handle their businesses in the education system and all these things that we use computers for. The next rich person that we focused was Donald Trump. We figured out Donald Trump was providing accommodation for a lot of people when it comes to real estate. He's providing a lot of accommodation for so many people, helping people to find places to live, to sleep, and all that stuff. The next person was Henry Ford. He was also responsible for the automobile industry, helping people with transportation back and forth wherever you want to go. The next person was Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs, everybody knows Steve Jobs, responsible for Apple and all these Apple computers, iPods, and all that stuff, helping people with entertainment, computer use. The next person is Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook. As you guys know, connected people from all over the world together. Facebook creating some kind of a smaller community, making the world much smaller. You're able to talk to everybody. It doesn't matter where you are, different parts of the world, you're able to talk to everybody. People are advertising their products on Facebook. People are showing their skills, talent, and everybody is accessible to everybody within a few seconds. So that's what Mark Zuckerberg is responsible for. And the last person on the list is Jeff Bezos. Amazon basically brought the supermarket or the market to your doorstep. He basically bringing all these stores to your doorstep where you could purchase anything you want and get it within the next day or the next 2 days with Amazon Prime, Amazon Music, and all that stuff. So one thing that we find in common among all these rich people was they were all solving problems. They were solving problems, finding solution to the needs of people. These people are all great people. Basically, all they're doing is providing solutions to problems in the society, making life much easier for people. And because they're making life much easier for people, people are paying for these services that they're providing. The only reason they're rich is because people are paying for these services that they're providing. People realize they need everything that they're providing, so they pay for it. Somebody like Mark Zuckerberg, we see Facebook as free, but it's funny how people don't realize that if you on Facebook, you're the product that you are being sold. So yeah. It's unbelievable. Alex, you have any comments?
Yeah, for Facebook to be exact. As a matter of fact, when he was going public, I was wondering, and they were talking about how much a share of Facebook was going to cost at the time and stuff like that. I was wondering, what exactly are people going to do with Facebook? To me, it looked like it was just for entertainment. So why are people willing to pay so much for a share of Facebook? But then come to find out, it was actually solving a pressing need of many people, bringing people closer together, making the world a real global village where you can communicate, connect with people almost anywhere and everywhere. So on that note, I'm going to start with a quote by Stephen A. Smith on my real comment. For the Jay-Z's, LeBrons, Shaqs, and others, I don't consider them the American dream. I consider me the American dream. You got 1 in a million shot to be them, but you can be me. You can go to school, you can work hard, you can make it and be a Stephen A. Smith. All right, this is not to discount that people do have talents. People actually got talents that they don't really have to actually go do that much analyzing stuff to come up with a solution to a problem. We're not discounting that. There's some people who actually have talents to do these things. But there are also people who actually just sit back and observe the environment, their neighborhood, their society, wherever they live, and figure out what problems people face there, what type of problems people are facing there. Because we all face problems in different types and different kinds in our neighborhoods and in our societies. The quickest way and surest way to actually make it is actually try to figure out what are some of these problems, what are the needs of the people in my neighborhood, in my area, that I can help solve. Because you help solve a problem, you are helping the people, and in turn, you make a lot of money too. Because if you help come up with a solution to a specific problem or a product, people will actually patronize to your product or whatever solution it is. I remember, I think towards the end of 2006, when Steve Jobs was actually going to introduce the iPhone in 2007. It was towards the end of 2006. He actually wrote about that. I read about that from the New York Times towards the end of 2006, and by 2007 it was launched. He actually said that I'm bringing the computer to the palms of people, and this is going to be for businessmen, because you could do whatever you want or whatever you can do on a computer on an iPhone. So that was a problem that he solved. He saw a computer to be a huge thing for people to be carrying around compared to the iPhone. So if I can make a computer as small as the iPhone, I know that it will be very convenient and it will help boost businesses of many people. So this is the problem that I'm solving. I'm shrinking that big computer to be something small so people can just carry around and work wherever and whenever they want. So, stuff like that. He found out that the computer was very useful, but it was bulky. So I'm going to take that whole size out of that big bulky computers and compress everything into one small iPhone. And let's see, look at the changes and everything that the iPhone brought into the lives of people. So yes, these are some of the things that we can look into and try to help solve and then make money. So I think we all need to observe and come up with solutions to problems of people.
So if you want to be rich, I believe the question that you got to ask yourself is, what problem are you solving? Because, based on what we're talking about, all these people who are rich that a lot of people envy and want to be like, they all solving problems. So the question that you got to ask yourself is, what problem are you solving? You got to ask yourself, what problem are you solving? Because if you're not solving any problem, you're not fulfilling nobody's needs. It's gonna be hard for you to even scratch any kind of riches. It's gonna be very, very tough. So you gotta really ask yourself this question. And money accumulation, it's just a game of solving problems to fulfill people's needs. Yeah. So if you're not solving any problem, you're not fulfilling nobody's needs, you shouldn't be thinking about getting rich, because it's so obvious.
Exactly. If what you're doing does not help anyone and no one wants what you make, why will people come purchase or patronize what you're making? So if there is a problem and people actually are facing a specific problem, going through a lot to, get over that, whatever that problem may be. And if you can bridge people to their need without going through all these problems, then definitely people would patronize whatever you make or services, and then people will make you rich.
Yeah, and the bigger the problem you solve, the more money you're going to make. Because the bigger the problem, the more people are going to be interested in the solution, and the more money that you're gonna make. So You just got to be thinking about creating products and services to fulfill people's needs. This is what these guys are doing. It's best that we emulate these people if we want to be like them, or if we want to be rich, or if we want to be any form of rich. You got to help people. You got to try to find a way, study the environment that you live in, find out what problems exist, instead of just sitting there hoping some money drops on your lap, or you find some money on the floor, or counting on somebody else to give you money, or just being there praying for some miracle to happen. Look around your neighborhood, the community that you live in, the country that you live in. Find out what's the problem. What's the biggest problem there? Like, the bigger the problem, you want the biggest problems. You want to come up with the solutions to those problems. And that's the only way that you could be any form of successful.
That's true, because the magnitude of the wealth that you create for yourself will depend on the magnitude of the problem that you solve and how many people. Because right now, money making is all about numbers game. So if you're able to solve problem of about 5 million people, 5 million people will be patronizing your service or product. And if you're able to solve a problem of 30 people will patronize. And how much money are they going to make you? So yeah, but then again, if you could solve any problem, that's always the first step, and it's always a good thing to go ahead, because that's the beginning. And once you get that going, definitely you don't want to get stuck there. That's when you build on what you have, because we all know how most of these guys started. Especially Jeff Bezos and stuff. He worked from his garage.
Yeah, his garage.
All these computers, old, bulky, big computers. But you know what I'm saying? But right now, I don't even think he literally get up in the morning to go to work. So, yeah, you have to start somewhere.
So first, you find the problem, whatever problem that you think you got the solution for. You find that problem, and then you solve the problem. So once you solve the problem, then you advertise it to the people. Once the people feel like, you're providing a need, or your solution is viable, or they could really, get any kind of benefit from the solution that you provided, they will start patronizing. So it's just these basic steps, and you want to kind of like have that mindset that you're just looking for problems to solve.
Exactly.
You want to have that mindset all the time, looking around, because the moment you start thinking about problems, looking for problems, your mind is going to turn into looking for problems. And you'll be able to see so many problems that you could actually dig deep and try to find the solutions.
Yeah. And you also mentioned education, promoting whatever you invent or whatever problem that you solve. That's another important factor. Once you come up with something, definitely have to let people become aware of it by telling them, educating them how to use that service or how to use that product. But then again, you have to be very careful, because most people, if you are in the beginning stages of your production or inventing something, you have to be very careful, because first, some people will try to kill your dream. First, all the naysayers will come around and tell you, you're not going to be able to do this, because look at how many people have been around and not been able to solve this. But hey, don't let no one tell you that cannot be done, because that's not true. Whatever you put your mind to and that passion is there for it, you're definitely going to hit it. So don't listen to the naysayers. And second, also beware of the people you approach to discuss these things with. Some will take these ideas and run away with them. You have to protect your ideas. You have to protect your inventions. Make sure you just don't talk to just anybody about that. Make sure people you trust and believe in, those who are, personally, that they will help you bring that into fruition. Not those who would, kind of discourage you. And once you turn back from that idea, they grab it and run with it. So yeah, these are some of the things that you got to be very careful once you start inventing. Because definitely, if you focus on solving a problem, you think day, night, mornings about these things, you will definitely find something that people need, that God might help you come up with a solution or a product to help solve that very need. But then again, once you start doing these things, you have to be very careful, those you talk to, who they are and stuff like that.
And once you come up with an idea, before you go see your lawyers, what you could do to protect the idea is to basically get an envelope, write the idea down, put it in the envelope, and mail it to yourself. Once you mail it to yourself with a government stamp on it, it has the date that you came up with the idea. So whenever somebody steals the idea before you register anything, you could go to the court. You could go to court with the envelope to prove that you came up with the idea first, and you'll be able to fight and get the idea back. So this is just a little tip to having your, have it down pat, because a lot of people don't know this.
Many people, I'm actually learning this myself right now, and it's a great tip. Yeah,
a lot of people don't know this, but that's how you protect your idea. If not, a lot of people somebody will think of your idea at some point, and then you just happen to be thinking about it that moment.
Yeah.
So that would be that's what you want to do before you go see the lawyers and register for the patent and all that stuff.
All right. So I have a question about that idea, that tip. Right now, you're somewhere, you've recognized a specific problem or a specific need to a certain problem, and I'm somewhere else too, and I've come up with the same thing, and we all working on our ideas without each other knowing that this one is working on that and this one is working on that. So if around the same time you start your invention, I'm also in the beginning stages of mine, we all kind of come up around the same time. Who claims that?
When at the end of the day, everything is going to be wind up in the court.
Yeah.
And in the court is about how much you could prove, what you could prove. If you're proving that you started it first and you have your evidence, at the end of the day, that person could have started it before you, but if they don't have no evidence, right, they lost the case.
Okay.
So it's a matter of you doing the due diligence, making sure you have your information, you have your evidence, so saying that you got the idea first.
Basically, knowing what to do to protect it.
Yes.
To have some kind of paper trail to show that, yes, I
had the idea first. And one thing you do is you never open that envelope.
Okay.
You just keep it. Once you mail it to yourself and you get it in the mail, you never open it. You just keep the envelope till you need it. You might never need it, but you just keep it just to be safe. Just so somebody steal your ideas. Because even sometimes when you call the invention companies, the person you talk to could steal the idea.
Definitely.
They may tell you, we'll call you back, blah, 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 before you know it's commercials on TV.
Or they'll probably try to discourage you. Oh, we don't think this is that important, so, forget about it. Next thing you know. So, yes, this is a very important tip. And, yes, I'm definitely going to keep this in my pocket, too.
Yeah, and, in this world that we live in, based on these people that we studied, it looks like you shouldn't just be there and hoping to get rich. It's all about what kind of value are you bringing to the market. In the marketplace, what kind of value are you bringing? Like, what kind of importance are you? That is what's going. How many people are you helping? How many people are you helping? Trying to make their life better. If you're not making nobody's life better, if you're not contributing to anybody's life, that you have no reason to be expecting any form of riches in any way, shape, or form. You have to follow these principles and try to find solutions to problems, people's needs. That's the only way. And one thing you have to understand is, first of all, nobody owes you nothing. Your reward in this world is equivalent to your contribution. Whatever you contribute, you cannot contribute nothing and you expect something to come out. You don't put in anything, but you expect something out. It doesn't make any sense. So this is what's going on. These people that we're talking about, they put in a lot. They're helping millions of people. If you're helping a million people and they all give you $1, that's $1 million. So it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
The more people you help, the more money you make. The more people you find solutions to their problems, the more money you're gonna make. So what you want to do is start looking at your environment, study the environment, figure out what kind of problems are there, where are the solutions, and try to find ways to solve the problem.
It is very important to make sure you do something, because I think this is a huge problem of many youth. Many of the youth are just staying around, sitting around, just hoping that something drops. I mean, if that's the plan and that's the game, you're gonna sit and hope for years, because you cannot reap from where you've not sown. You have to sow to reap. You have to put in the work. We are easily throwing these names out: Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates.
They're putting so much work, you have no idea.
Bill Gates, Jack Ma, all these people. We're just throwing these names out because we know them now, because they've made it. Yeah. But we cannot tell you. Most of us don't know exactly the steps and the struggles they went through to get to where they are now. And if you should approach some of these guys and they should let you know the stories and the problems that they've been through before getting to where they are now, you'll be shocked. So it's not like somebody's going to hand you stuff on a silver platter. No.
Yeah, a lot of people don't even know that Jack Ma and Alibaba, at some point, they were buying their own stuff. People were selling stuff on their platform, and they were just buying it and keeping it just to connect other people to come on the platform.
Exactly.
A lot of people don't know this.
Exactly. They created a platform for people to come and trade.
Right.
But after it was created, nobody was coming on.
Nobody was coming in.
Nobody knew about this.
So when people come in and they post their stuff, they buy it themselves. Their company buys it, even though they had no use for it.
Yeah, exactly. So they'll buy these things and hoard them. And
they
then
bought it and hoard for so long.
And then put reviews and stuff like that to attract people. You have to find ways to make it work. Creating stuff that people do need is not automatically just going to put you out there. You have to still put in the work, do the education, because you might probably come up with something that people might not know how to use.
And even when you create whatever it is that you will create, and people start using it and everything is working fine, you're making money, you don't just fall asleep. You got to make sure you always thinking of ways to improve the systems that you have.
Many companies and businesses have collapsed by just being comfortable and complacent with where they were, and then just went to sleep. And they went to sleep with their companies because they fell asleep, and the company also died in the same process, because most people don't think about how to grow stuff once they invent them.
Yeah, a good example is Blockbuster. When Blockbuster was out all over the city, all over the country, renting DVDs to everybody. There's always people in the store. They were making good money that time. And when Netflix came around, they tried to sell their the idea to Blockbuster, but they were too comfortable. They didn't want to buy it. And now look what happened. Because they didn't try to improve whatever they were, to improve their system. Because now Netflix took over and Blockbuster doesn't exist anymore.
It's no more. And that's all it is. People are finding easier ways in doing things every day. So if you came up with something that was helping people to get from point A to point B in 30 minutes, people are still researching, developing ways to get people from point A to point B in 15 minutes. So just because you can get somebody from point A to point B in 30 minutes, that's not enough. You still have to keep working. Work doesn't stop if you want to stay on top. All right. Yep. But then again, if you're comfortable with whatever that you've achieved and you think that's going to sustain you for the rest of your life and your generation, then you want to sit back. That's you. But you have to keep studying. You have to keep researching. You have to keep improving whatever product, whatever service that you come up with, or else you will die with it.
There's this story about that's a little related to what we're talking about. There was this small town with about 300,000 people in there, and there was no water in the town. So most of the people have to walk like 3 miles just to get water, and everybody in the town goes to the same river to get the water. So people just walk around with their big buckets and gallons and stuff like that to go get water all the time. Everybody, they're young, they're old, everybody was walking 3 miles. And 3 miles is not that easy. At some point, you're not going to feel like doing it every day, and you need water. Everybody needs water. So there was this macho man in the town, and he realized, this is a problem, and I'm going to try to find a solution. So he decided, I'm going to buy a couple of gallons and try to advertise to these people, and I'm going to charge them. And I'll go in and get the water for them every day. I could go back and forth 100 times a day. I'm not going to get tired, so I could make some money off this. So he found this solution to this problem. He advertised it to these people. The people like it, and people started paying him, and he was doing it. He's making a lot of money. He was doing it for some years. He got tired. Then the best thing he could come out with was to recruit other guys to help him out. So he was like a supervisor, recruiting guys to help him. And they started, going 3 miles every day to get the water. So there was another guy. He was looking at the process, and he was like, you know what? What if I bring this water to the middle of the town? If I could find a way to bring the water to the middle of the town, people would just walk. It would be so close. Nobody has to walk 3 miles to go get the water.
Yeah.
So he did his research, and he came out with ways to bring the water to the middle of the town. And now he was making all the money because nobody wants to walk 3 miles anymore.
No.
And people just coming to him.
Yeah.
Now, the first guy, he's losing customers every day, and it looks like his business is about to collapse.
It will collapse.
Because this second guy brought the water to the people. It's right in the middle of the town. Everybody could go there anytime they want to get the water. So the guy was happy. He's making a lot of money, and he was relaxed, and he wasn't thinking of ways to improve his system.
Mm-hmm.
There was another guy. He popped out, and he was like, you know what?
I'll bring the water to
What
your
if I
house.
bring the water to people's houses? Like, I could just bring the water into people's houses, find a way to connect the water into people's houses, and they don't even have to step out of the house.
Yeah.
They will come to me if I could do this. So he also did his research, and he came out with ways to connect the water to goes into everybody's house.
Mm-hmm.
And people were like so happy. Everybody wanted water in their house. And this guy kept making money and making money. He became the richest person in the town. And everybody was jealous of him. Why? Even though he didn't come up with the initial idea trying to get the water to the people from the beginning, it looks like everybody's building up on other people's ideas.
Exactly.
So you don't always have to come up with the initial idea.
Nah.
Somebody could come up with the idea, but you could study somebody else's idea and try to build upon it.
I'm better, right?
You know, find a ways to improve it and make it better so you could basically not steal the idea, but just improve the idea for yourself.
Just make it better.
So this is how it works. You know, in this story that I just told you guys, the third person that connected the water into people's house, until other people find the ways to, like, you know, to make maybe somebody providing hot water, cold water, or something like that.
Yeah.
He's gonna be in the system for a long time until he figure out the ways to maybe filter the water better or whatever it is, you know. So you always either you coming up with the initial idea or you taking other people's idea and improving it.
Yeah.
And once you improve it, you're not stealing the idea, you're improving it. You also finding solution to people's needs. There's always room for improvement. So you just never settle and say like, oh, this person is doing this, there's nothing else I could do. There's always a way.
Yeah, there's
If you put your mind to it, you can do it. You come up with the ideas. You sit down and brainstorm the ideas. You could come up with a better idea to every system. It's just a matter of trying and dedicating yourself to want to do it.
Yeah, and like you said, you know, the first macho man, I think with all the strength he had, he could have probably thought of trying to get the water to the people, the main source to the people, so they could have went there themselves and fetched their own water. But he depended just on part of it. And that's how it works. If you don't always research and develop and polish whatever plan idea that you have, it will definitely die out. Because as people come into that business and people observe what you do, they are going to better that very specific idea. And at the end of the day, you'll be irrelevant and people wouldn't find any need for you anymore. And if folks don't find need for what you do, I guess that would be the end of your existence or your company's existence. So you have to keep developing and building whatever idea and polishing it to stay relevant. I think it was one of those, I'm not sure if it was Bill Gates or one of these rich people that said it. He said when you first get the idea, it's always not clear. But as you start to develop on it, as you start to work on it, it becomes clearer. The more you put in, the clearer it gets. Because if you're just hatching this idea in your head, just laying somewhere thinking, oh, one day I'll do this, I'll do that, it will be that blurred stuff, bulky thing. You cannot separate the head from the tail. Just you think it's possible, but you know, have a lot of complications and not how to start it. It will be like that until you actually take that step to build or to start or to do something with it. And once you start developing, building on that, then it gets clearer and you see where and what to do exactly, how and when, and it becomes a reality for you. So let's not stop developing and growing.
Yeah, and you also got to learn to adapt to change, you know. Whenever things you already come up with an idea and it's working and things change, you got to learn how to adapt and find ways to always improve yourself.
Yeah.
You got to always find a way.
Yeah, this reminds me of a story that this guy that that I used to work with a while back. You know, it got to a point where he had to become a little lead, and the guy was so used to being a follower that he actually told the supervisor, "Hey man, I don't think I'm comfortable with this, man. I'm just cool where I'm at," because he didn't want to take that responsibility. He wanted to change, adapt to that new position that was open for him. We cannot have that mindset. We should be always ready to adapt, change, grow, you know, to fit whatever situation that there is that we're in. So we have to.
So if you're from Ghana and you pay attention to the problems in Ghana, there are so many problems there. Like sometimes I wonder why
we're still poor.
We're still poor. And
I remember back in 2008 and 2009 when we had the economic turndown in America and everything was kind of stagnant and nothing was working. One of the policies that Barack Obama suggested was to just renew or rebuild their social infrastructures and stuff like that, bridges and stuff like that. So they had to put money into these things, stuff that were not broken, bridges and roads that were not that messed up. This guy convinced Congress and them to come up with money to be given to contractors so there will be money flowing in the system. So I'm thinking, look at all the infrastructures that we need in Ghana. Look at all the things that we need.
There's so much problems. I got a list of all the problems.
Look at the
majority of the problems.
Look at the railways corporation that market alone. Look at how many people that will employ.
It's unbelievable. Is it because the people are sleeping or what's going on? Or they
if you
they're
ask
not aware that we gotta find solution to these problems?
If you ask me, I think it's the corruption that we have in the system. That's what's stopping everything, because that's the root cause of all these things.
Because when you take a look at Ghana, first Ghana has electricity problem. Ghana's roads are like death traps right now. Majority of the roads are like death traps. The healthcare systems are in shambles. Poverty is a major social problem in Ghana. Unemployment, lack of opportunities for the youth, which is leading to brain drain in the country.
The drainage
unreliable electricity, corruption, poor education, poor infrastructure, like you said, low income, abortion, ethnicity and tribalism. Our market is being taken over by foreigners. Yeah. Like the local farmers and local producers, they can't compete because the foreigners taking over the country.
And all our raw materials are being sold to people in that very state.
Sanitation is a problem. Like, look at the places are so dirty. There are open gutters that keep flooding. The country keeps experiencing flooding problems every year.
And you know, that's what I was going to talk about. That's the problem that has existed since Kufuor's time. And the saddest part is every government budget for that. They set money aside, allocate money aside for that same problem. It was done by Kufuor. It was done by Mills. It was done by Mahama. But then again, where does the money go? Because at the end of the day, the money will be gone, but the problem will persist. So if this is the case, where is the money going? The money is supposed to go into that specific problem to solve it. But we've seen the same problem over all these years. But then again, we cannot account for this money. So now, if you really, really want to do something with that stuff, we want to see development and improvement, we have to tackle corruption, because the money was spent by somebody other than what it was meant to be spent for.
Well, if you find a way to handle corruption in the country, I guess you're going to be the richest person.
Oh, I think there's a way.
You can find a solution to this problem.
There's a way in the pipelines. There's a solution in the pipelines that's coming. It will soon surface and everybody will see it.
And malaria and mosquitoes are also problems there. But my major concern is waste management. It's the huge problem. It's a nationwide problem. Like, why can't we find a solution? Why can't somebody think of a solution? Because all these unemployment and all these things that's going on, if all these people were to sit down and try to come up with solutions to all these problems that we're talking about, a lot of people will be rich. There'll be a lot of unemployment would go down just like that.
Everybody is crying. We need jobs. There's unemployment, but yet there are a million problems that do need solutions that nobody is attending to, and nobody is even trying to start anything. My cousin is in Ghana right now, who is over there trying to lay some bricks and stuff for his house. And do you know what one of those workers told him? Yeah, me boga banti me nyejuma.
Yo, it's crazy. It's crazy, man.
As funny as this is, it's a reality. It's what's going on right now. How much does your burger have for him to give you enough to sustain you that you won't do what you do every day to keep you going?
He just came from America, man. You know, his money. Is money on the floor. You can just pick money on the floor. It's money all over the place, you know. So
if your burger will be honest with you, he will tell you what he goes through every day to make that few dollars.
Your burger probably not solving no problems, you know. He probably not solving no problems. He's probably just a regular worker, and he budgeted himself to come to Ghana, and you don't know this.
Exactly. And your burger, as we all do most of the time, most people do this. They plan for these trips to Ghana for like 2-3 years. They save for that. They use 3 years savings to come there to do what they do. So it's not the lifestyle they lead every day.
Yeah, people don't know. They think
most
of the people from America and all the other countries, they come to Ghana and they live in a certain lifestyle like that, and thinking that's the life they're living every day, you know.
So this guy that I know, he went and got married in Ghana. So after 2-3 years, was able to petition for the wife to join him here in America. And the wife came and looked at the guy and said, "Hey man, where are all the clothes that you used to wear when you used to come back home?" He saw a huge difference from how he used to dress back home and how he was dressing today. So yes,
he probably don't even get haircuts on the regular out here, man.
So that's a reality. That's a real deal here. So it's not easy. So your burger is not even, he doesn't even have it like that for him to come give it to you to the point where, my burger, and he's gonna be there for 2-3 weeks, 6 weeks tops, and then after that, what are you gonna do?
Well, you be back to reality.
And the work that you do every day that keeps you going, the people that you do work for, who will recommend you for more work every day for you to stay working every day. You telling him this. So do you think he's going to recommend you to somebody else who's looking for a worker?
Hell no.
So we have to change our mindset. We have to change our outlook on a lot of things because we cannot live like that. We have to stop that mindset of just right now and now. I just need to get something to eat right now. I'm hungry. So after I'm full right now, that's it. After you're full right now, that's good. But what about tomorrow? You're not going to be hungry again?
It's a marathon, you know. This life is a marathon, like life and riches and trying to put yourself in the position where you could make the most money you can. It's a marathon, and you're not thinking about just right on the spot or what you could do in a few moments, you know. You got to think long term.
That hand me a fish mentality got to be changed, man. We need to start learning how to fish our own fish, man, because that's the only guarantee that you will stay eating fish whenever you want. Because if you're handed a fish when you ask for a fish, what if you don't get a fish when you ask for it? What are you going to do? But if you know how to catch your own fish, you could go grab your own fish whenever you want. And I think that's the mindset we should develop and live by.
And you know, I think it's kind of weird. You know, it's maybe the education system is not really bringing out creative individuals, because if people were creative, we would find solutions to all these problems. Especially the university graduates coming out with all these, or knowing all these, because people are aware. Everybody is aware of all these problems. Everybody is aware of all these problems there. We just need to find solutions to these problems to better ourselves. Once we find solutions, like you said, we could either find a solution, we could advertise it, and we will get people who will pay money to us if we find these solutions. So instead of just being there complaining that somebody else is going to do it, why don't you be that somebody to find the problem, find the problem, and come up with a solution? You know.
I cannot confirm this because I read it here and there, and you know, these platforms, there are a lot of stories that are unconfirmed. But I read it somewhere that Bill Gates saying that he flunked some subjects, some classes in college,
Right.
and his classmates, some of the classmates actually aced those classes, and those guys are working for him now. Look, how many people in Ghana will be allowed to flunk some classes and not be looked at or stigmatized in a way? Because that all these things got to be changed.
Yeah, it's so obvious that, I mean, in Ghana, it's so obvious that people just go to school for grades, because at the end of the day, you judge by results, and the results, the reality, of these people who got A's and all these good grades, they're not doing anything. They're walking around with their diplomas and degrees looking for jobs. They're not creating nothing. So it's not about A's. And when you take a look at these, some of these rich people or some of these companies or the reality on this planet, basically the A students work for the C students, the C's and B students.
Exactly. And
because the C and B students, they're not thinking of just grades. They looking at life in the whole. They're not just focusing on memorizing somebody else's book that they wrote
because that's
just
all it
spitting
is.
it out.
That's all it is. It's just about chewing. Back home, the educational system and everything is about chewing, just trying to memorize stuff. So if you're able to memorize stuff for a long time, then you're a smart person.
So the smartest people are the people that can memorize stuff.
Exactly.
People with retentive memory.
Because I was just there, and I could still recite this, the definition of osmosis and diffusion and stuff like that. I could just recite them. I can just recite them like that, and I didn't even know exactly what they were, like atoms, elements, and molecules and stuff like that. Compounds. I knew these things.
So you're trying to say if you know the names of all the rivers in Africa, that's not gonna make you rich?
Son, who is going to pay you to listen to the names of
the rivers in Africa?
Every single river in Africa. Son, in JSS, there were this guy called Obri Abua. Obri Abua will tell you the minister of this, all the ministers and their respective ministries over there in Ghana. And this guy was deemed to be very smart. This guy will listen to the commentaries on soccer and stuff like that, and he would come to school the next day and he would start reciting these things. And everybody was giving this guy fans. Oh, at the end of the day, where is that going to get you?
It's just trivia. Our education system
has been trivialized, and the focus, like I said, if you have a retentive memory, you can memorize stuff, then it means you're smart. You could be able to recite these things like I was reciting definitions of osmosis and diffusion and stuff like that without me not even knowing exactly. So I was shocked when I was talking to a guy here and he said, "Oh, I've done this and I used reverse osmosis." I said, "What is?" It's just this. Wow. How were you able to even know what it is to reverse to use it? It just, to me, it's just some poor portion of a textbook that I can just recite anytime. And once it's recited and I'm able to answer some multiple choice questions about that, I'm done. I was done. So we have to actually change our thinking and our mindset.
Even right now, if you go to some of the big institutions, nobody's allowing you to use your memory to do anything.
No.
You gotta go back into SOPs and go back on computers to figure it out. They want you to have to make sure that's what you are putting or what you are doing is correct.
What?
Nobody relies on memories for nothing.
Yo.
Even though it's good to memorize certain things, you could use it as some kind of checks and balances or whatever it is to check your results. But nobody really. It's not. If you could just memorize, what's the point of trying so hard to memorize it if it's on the computer that you could have access to it right away?
Comparing the education system back home to what is in America is even funny because I was shocked when in one of my classes, my statistics class, the professor said you could come with a page of whatever apport you want. This is a legal apport. So that memorization things, retentive memory stuff, it's not working here. This lady said you could grab a sheet of paper, write anything and everything you want from the textbook to the exams hall. So now, what's the good of your retentive memory that you have?
And the funny thing is, when you even when we was in college, some of the exams that the teachers make them open book, those are the ones that you actually learn.
Yeah,
you learn a lot from those exams because it's open books. You actually read all the entire book, trying to understand or know what they're talking about, so in case there's a question you'll be able to answer. But if you just have to memorize stuff, it's just a matter of you memorizing it without really understanding certain things. So The problem is people, and the funny thing is people stop learning too. Once they finish school, they start learning. They stop. They don't learn anymore. They don't read nothing. They don't read anymore. They just stop. They feel like I finished school. I got my degree.
I got the degree.
I just gotta look for a job, go to different ministries or different departments and just look for a job. Trying to find a solution to any of these problems is not on anybody's mind.
No.
Nobody's thinking of this. So if you're serious, you really want to be rich, you serious, you want to be rich, you're not just trying to pray some money from the sky or
just hope
trying
that
to fast
some miracle
and just go bath in some kind of anointing oil or whatever for money to just drop from the sky for you, and you're really serious, find solutions to some of these problems in Ghana, and I guarantee you will be rich, because nobody wants to be in Ghana where healthcare system don't work. Your government and your leaders, they get sick, they go out of the country. They come to America to get treatment. They don't use the healthcare system over there. So it's up to you to find a solution to these problems. If not, unless you can afford it or you can afford to leave the country, you get sick, you're going to have to go to the same place with, they have pregnant women giving birth to babies on the floor.
On
and
cardboard.
All those things. It's very sad, but I mean, that is the situation, and we got to find a way to find a solution to these problems to get rich. So if you serious, like I said, you serious, you want to really make some money, listen to this podcast over and over, find these listen to the problems that we spoke about and try to come up with solutions, and I guarantee you that you're going to be rich.
Your life is not going to be the same. Yeah, because look at it. This is what's going on in Ghana right now. Everybody's going to a pastor for him to pray for him to get rich or get whatever. And most of these guys that we do go to for prayers, the anointing oils and stuff that they're spraying on us, it's for them. But he's going to spray an anointing oil on you for you to get rich. But then you are going to pay him at the end of the day. So if he has the oil and that's going to make you rich, why don't he use it on himself?
I was like way back. I was shocked to find one of the anointed oil said Goya on it. I couldn't believe it.
Oh yeah, it's just oil. Oil is just oil.
It said Goya on it. I was like, what? They have that in the store.
Yeah. Seriously, we have to get serious. We have to start looking for solutions to problems that we face in our neighborhoods, in our societies, and then these are some of the ways that those who've made it. These are some of the steps. These are some of how those guys did it. So if you're really, really serious about making a change, making a difference, not just making money, but you also be making a change, a difference in somebody else's life. You will be helping many, many people. So let's be serious and look at these things. And now, all jokes aside, solve problems and help people, and we will also be well off.
There are major problems in Ghana. So not just Ghana, whatever country you're in, look for the problems. Come up with a solution. If you can't come up with a solution by yourself, tag team with other people. Teamwork, if you don't have the idea, somebody else might have the idea. Connect with the right people and sit down, brainstorm the ideas. And once you come up with the solution and you put the solution out there, people are going to be interested in you, and they will pay money to use your service. And before you know, money's coming to you like crazy and you don't know what to do with it.
Yeah. Because it's about time we stop making those forming these groups that on Sunday evenings we do take showers and dress up and jump from bar, hopping from one bar to the other, from a club to another club. If we could spend all these energies doing these things, that same energies could be channeled into finding a solution to needing a pressing issue in our societies, and this will really, really change our lives. So let's not just make these groups and friendships just to go hang out and just play around and have fun. Let's try to also make something really, really great come out of these things.
But it's going to be hard to find a group of young guys, young girls that want to sit down and brainstorm ideas to problems. It's much easier to find a group of young guys, young girls to sit down and come up with a party ideas. Like what kind of drinks we're gonna have at the party, how is the party gonna be popping, what kind of food and stuff. That's like way easier. So majority of the people will fall for that one instead of focusing on coming up with solution to problems that is affecting everybody. Because at the end of the day, if you see the problem is affecting you and you come up with a solution, there's a higher chance that it is affecting a lot of people.
Definitely.
You might not be the only one.
Yes.
So think about it, pay attention to everything that we just spoke about. Listen to this podcast over and over and over. Subscribe to our channel. Tell your family, friends to subscribe. Like we always say, we're trying to build a big community out here where a lot of information is going to be available for anybody to come to our site, our page, to learn, to also, let people know what you also know. If you're interested in coming to the studio to also share your ideas on any of these topics that we talk about, we could bring you to the studio and we're going to have a good time.
Definitely. And one thing I'll leave you guys with tonight is it's not going to be easy trying to solve these problems. So don't think it's going to be some walk on a park. Being said, it's still possible to also make it happen. So you're going to press on, you're going to work hard, you're going to hang around, stick with those guys, those friends that would be very difficult to come by with because everybody want to go have fun. But those that will actually stick with you and find solutions and solve issues, and you guys will be great. And trust me, it's going to happen and it's possible.
And remember this, if it was easy, everybody will be doing it. That's all for today, guys.
That's all for today. Until we meet again next time, never stop learning. Thank you for listening. Subscribe to our channel. Email us at themoneymatterspodcast@gmail.com.